Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the May 7th, 2026 work session. We'll start off with Mr. Masisklis.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. So this is just a first reading. We're gonna looking at changing our investment ordinance one more time, hopefully the last time. We've moved around the actual deposit location, the deposit fund of our earnings on Treasury investments a couple times since I've started. We recently issued a large city building bond, and some of the existing language conflicts with the language that is required of us. We have to pay the investment earnings from those bonds into a specific fund, which I have been doing, but it just does conflict with our current ordinance. So this new ordinance gives us a little bit more flexibility and lack of need to change it so often. It also rediverts a majority of our investment earnings from the capital improvement fund, which, thanks to current and pending pilots, will be able to sustain our current capital plan for the next decade. It transfers the cash from that as a destination fund back to the general fund for most of our Treasury investments. When it goes to the general fund, we can then redivert that to the fire and police levies, which have been underfunded for years. Not from an operations standpoint, just from a cash balance standpoint. So we can continue our operations in both the fire and police levy as they stand. So it is a good funding mechanism to stretch those levies further.
Sounds good. Any questions from anyone? No. All right. Thank you. Mr. Carr.
Hello. What we have for you this evening is a motion to approve the prepayment of a 2-year lease for a special needs vehicle for the police department. It is a non-traditional, non-police package vehicle that will be used for a specialized assignment that we are entering into an agreement with the federal government for a task force officer. And at the end of that 2 years is the point in time in which we will re-examine the benefit to the city of Trenton, to the residents, to the department, and determine whether or not to continue forward with that assignment. That's why I am not looking to purchase this particular type of vehicle outright. I would prefer just to lease it. And at that point in time, when the 2 years is up, we can reevaluate at that point in time, determine whether or not we would want to extend the lease or perhaps look into a different vehicle or even continue the program. So I can tell you that there are many government entities that use the same company, which is called Acme, and I don't think it has anything to do with Wile E. Coyote. But it is funny, when I saw that, I'm like, really? Well, yeah. Acme's going to deliver this. So
honestly, I did the same thing when I looked at it. I thought, hold on.
Is that really the company? Who are we sending this money to? But that is, the vehicle is available. Of course, since it's not a police package, of course it's available. But we have deferred any moving forward with that lease until I presented this option to you this evening. I do not have a copy of the lease yet. However, if it is agreed upon tonight, the lease will be obtained, and I will provide it to the finance director for his educated eye to take a look at.
Thank you. Any questions?
I think it's great that it's not going to be may not be a permanent thing, that we're not going to jump into purchasing one. I think that's a great way to do it. I agree with that. It's awesome.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Baker.
Mayor, Council, good evening.
Good evening.
Bringing before you a motion tonight for a change order number 2 for the Collector Road project from SES Silver Construction. I want to kind of start from the beginning on this one. This project that we took on, the engineer's estimate was $4,605,601. The awarded contract amount was $2,682,926. There was one small change order for $5,000, and now there's another change order for $503,000. Keeping this in mind, the total engineer's estimate plus minus what was awarded to SES will still be 1.4 million, a little bit over $1.4 million under the engineer's estimate cost. So, and this is for the conduits that was not related to the prints in the beginning for Duke Energy, for all the crossover conduits, all the power going back to the building, past the commercial outlots, all the north-south streets, and the east-west streets. This is for the power for all of it. This is to get the conduits in so we can get the power in place for the new city building and the commercial outlots. This is a big change order, very heavy, but due to prevailing wages and other costs and revised prints from Duke, that's why the cost got driven up really high. This is a cost that we do not normally take on. The developer takes on these costs. We're the developer on this section of roadway. So this is our cost. And the one thing that I need for everyone to understand is that if this doesn't happen, the projects are dead. The city building, the collector streets, everything. We got to have power. And this is how we got to get it back there. This originally wasn't in the contract, like I said, because at the time that the construction documents were made for the city building complex, for the collector roads, we had no Duke prints. We didn't obtain those prints actually till about 3 weeks ago. And then we had to wait and get the pricing on all the extra additional work. So that's where we are. But the thing to keep in mind, we're still, to be exact, $1,413,727.99 below the engineer's estimated cost. It's a big chunk, but it would be much appreciated to get this passed tonight so we can keep going and complete this project.
Sounds good. Any additional comments or
So
questions?
basically what you're telling us, you knew we were gonna have to spend this all along, you just didn't know exactly how much.
We knew we was gonna have to spend some, we just did not know how much exactly. There was no way to put a number to it.
And my understanding is less than what you thought, what they approximately thought it would be. It's less than that, right?
It is less than what
yeah.
we thought it was gonna be,
That's
honestly.
Mr. Baker, not to jump off subject, I just wanted to tell you, I feel I was wrong about the river mulch. It looks excellent down there at the roundabout. I like the idea that you guys was experimenting with seeing how long that would last to save money, to not have to possibly mulch every year. So, again, good call on that one.
I appreciate that. One of the comments that was made about that mulch is about it being hazardous or whatever else. Something that I may have not relayed was it is actually certified playground mulch as well. So it's a certified mulch, which that was the determining factor. We didn't want to be not eco-friendly, so we moved forward with it. And with the 10-year warranty on the color, it's going to save us money in the long run. And the rest of it was supposed to be here today and didn't show up. So once it gets here, we'll keep going.
So, go ahead. Back to the 503,000.
Yes, ma'am.
And excuse my ignorance. So it was estimated that it would cost 4 million plus,
Mhm.
and it was awarded to someone who offered to do it for 2 something.
Yes.
Why? Why did we start off awarding it to someone who was going to do it for half the cost, knowing that it was supposed to be,
We had competitive bids,
right?
and they were the lowest and best bid, not knowing what those the conduit costs were going to be totally, because we did not have the prints for them yet from Duke. That's been a behind the scenes thing that's been a very big struggle for quite a long time, and getting Duke to move forward with what we needed at the time, we had to get moving on the project. So once we got moving on the project, then those prints come in, those documents come in, and the costs. So it wasn't a matter of awarding this project to someone because it was half the price. That was a good competitive price, and they have done an excellent job.
I believe, if I recall, they were at 2.9. We had several others right at 3.0, 3.1, 3.4. So
Okay.
they were all bidding on the same set of prints, which
Yeah.
the Duke item was not a part of at
Without
that time.
that.
Right.
Knowing that it would eventually be in there?
We
Or not.
budgeted above, we actually budgeted above what the engineer's estimate was because of this,
Okay.
and it just happened to work out this way.
So we have it in our budget to
Yes.
cover it?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know where we were going to pull that from. All right.
No, it's there. It's
Okay.
just the savings that we saved in the beginning is really helping us on the back end, plus money be left.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Going back to mulch for a second, are there any plans to redo the mulch up at Community Park? I noticed when we had
I'm waiting on it to
Event up
show
there.
up. It's on
Okay.
that second
It was,
round.
it
I'm
was
also
looking a
gonna-
little bare under the swing sets and stuff.
Oh, the swing sets? They're done.
Are they? Okay.
The actual playground mulch, we went back with the wood chips for Community Park, for the playground, for the swings and stuff, seeing how this other stuff's gonna work. But, this past week, the playground mulch was put in the swings. It
Okay,
looks
great.
nice, actually.
Great. Yeah, so
Well done.
I noticed
you.
it was getting a little sparse when we had the Arbor Day and
Yeah,
recycling event up there.
yes,
you
it'll
cleared the-
it'll be
You're clear to
pleasantly
swing,
surprised
right?
when you see it now.
You're clear to swing.
He's cleared to swing now, right? Ray, he can go ahead and swing now.
If he falls off, he'll be safe.
Thank you. Mr. Nichols.
Thank you, Mayor Perry. On the agenda, you'll see a first reading and request to suspend the rules regarding a resolution to cancel a maintenance bond for Elk Creek Section 9. In having a conversation with the developer, this has come to our attention that this is an outstanding maintenance bond from 2024, which really should have been canceled in 2025. So basically just administrative cleanup. This will release the 2024 bond of $4,000, $143.36. Brad and his folks confirm that the punch list has been completed for some time, so this is really just administrative cleanup for the Elk Creek subdivision and getting those funds back to the developer.
Perfect.
And then I do want to go over the memo that I sent you all. As it relates to Trenton Square and the municipal building, precast panels are almost complete. I believe they pretty much are at this point. Roof and structural steel has begun. The water main loop is connected and being flushed. I believe, Brad, correct me if I'm wrong, but the purity testing came back and has been cleared. So water is live on the entire site. So we're good there. Basin 3, we've got meetings scheduled this week and next week to discuss the final design and responsibilities. As it relates to the off-site improvements, electric poles and pedestals have been removed. The concrete island on Edgewood Drive has been removed and is based in with asphalt. Waiting on the top course layer for the final phase. The slotted storm drain on the south side of State Street has been saw cut and ready for removal. Traffic pole foundations are being installed at West State Street and Wayne Madison. You'll also notice recently, within the last 48 hours, the right in, right out pork chop islands have been poured on State Street, and then also they are working on the sidewalk on the north side of State Street, pouring that as well. As it relates to the splash pad, Majors has presented us with a solution to the issue that arose. That solution will be evaluated by city staff and our engineers once it's been completed. Majors has also agreed to an additional 1-year extended warranty for the tough coat finish, making it a 2-year warranty, and they are beginning to pour the sidewalks around the immediate splash pad and connect it to that sidewalk path. So that project is back in motion. The elevated water tower, the 3-inch, 3-foot thick stem wall and footers are completed. They're backfilling around the stem wall and beginning utility connections. Also, the actual concrete foundation process will begin. East State Street Urban Paving Project. That has been tentatively scheduled to begin early July with completion around early November. Just as a refresher, that paving project will go from South First on State Street all the way to the bridge. And that will take it all the way to the bridge. So when we originally had conversations with ODOT, they were going to do it to the city boundary line. We had expressed, can you just take it to the bridge? Because most people don't realize that we don't go all the way to the bridge. So they were willing to work with us on that. Fillmore Paving has been awarded that project from ODOT District 8. As it relates to the EV charging stations, we were notified today that the federal authority to advertise for that EV charger project was delayed until Q1 of federal fiscal year 2027, which will be later this year. The Founders Park Electric, the service director and foreman met with Cougar Electric, and they are ready to complete the electrical upgrades. We're waiting on a schedule from the directional boring contractor so they can start working on that and getting that done. As it relates to the Safe Haven Baby Box project, the agreement has been executed with the organization. Staff has been meeting and trying to finalize the placement location at the fire station, which would be the most appropriate location with minimal interior and exterior remodeling. So that's all I have as far as various projects that we've got going on in the community. So with that, I do have a request to go into an executive session to consider confidential information that is directly related to a request for economic development assistance under any provision identified in the Ohio Revised Code 121.22 subsection G8, or that involves public infrastructure improvements or the extension of utility services that are directly related to an economic development project as necessary to protect the interests of the applicant or the possible investment or expenditure of public funds to be made in connection with the economic development project, and to confer with legal counsel.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments from council?
I appreciate all the updates.
I do have a couple questions. The first one, I was approached by a citizen that lives there. Their garage is actually in one of the alleyways. So behind their house, they have a small alleyway, but then their garage is on that. They said that the alleyway was pretty rough, and I walked down there to look at it, and I don't think it's been touched since it was probably put in the 50s. But the citizen did say they understand that it's not a major roadway, but they're trying to buy a classic car, and they said there's no way they could get a classic car over the road how it is now. Is there anything we can do just as a cost-effective fix to those small alleyways?
The best fix for our alleyways, they've been patched so many times that nothing holds. There's nothing there to hold. We're at a point now with our alleys that we actually need to have them milled out and relay them.
Okay.
Yes, we can put mix in there, but we are throwing money away. We could put gravel in there just to try to keep people happy, but that's not a fix as well. So we are at the point with our alleyways, several of them,
Yes.
that need to be taken out and repaved.
Okay. I mean, I know that there's more pressing needs with our roads than the alleyways, but they are all pretty rough.
They're very rough. There's no argument there at all.
So maybe if there's a way we could work in one here and there with our paving budget. I don't know what we're looking at next year for paving, but would probably be good to just look at one every year and add that on to the budget, if practical.
We can look at that.
Thank you.
All right. And
Maybe do them with, if we come in under budget, rather than add another street.
yeah.
Get some of them.
And then the other thing I was contacted by the Soccer Association about advertising their fundraiser on our board out front. I know traditionally we haven't advertised fundraisers and things like that on the board, but I thought I'd bring it up because I do think that Trenton-related nonprofits, we should advertise out there just to get them going. But that's something I want to bring up to everyone because you know how that is. If you open it up to one, we'd have to have some pretty strict rules on what qualifies and what doesn't. But I think it's a discussion to have.
Well, I mean, technically, they operate in what we consider one of our parks. So they're, even though they're a separate organization, they're still kind of a partner with us.
Church is considered nonprofit.
That's where I was going with that because
I agree with you on that.
to be honest with you, I mean, this is no offense to churches, but I don't think it's practical for us to have 10 minutes of when church services are for every church in Trenton. But then again, for special events like this, I do think we put that board in to advertise to the city because we had trouble with advertising events, and then we kind of limited it to what we advertise. So, I mean, is there a special designation we can put to organizations that operate within our parks, like Edgewood Baseball and the soccer?
Yeah, and I would agree with Edgewood Baseball because that is our park.
Yeah.
The soccer is a little bit different because it's not our property. We lease it from Duke and then sublease it to them. So we're not even actually the owner of that land. So
that gets a little.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, I mean, I'm open to anything, and then also if Stas has any suggestions from best practices as it relates to sending out messaging and things like that, I think that would be great.
Okay. I'll have a conversation with Stas and see how we can go forward with this, and then the next meeting we'll bring something back to you guys with ideas, and then we'll discuss it then in work session.
Is the EMA nonprofit as well?
Yes.
When they're in need in the wintertime, around the holidays, them being a nonprofit, but again, is that ran through the Presbyterian church here in town?
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah. Again,
That's
there are
the
so
main
many
thing.
different angles that you can take on different
Just
things
questions, just
that
going to have
Yeah.
to-
if you do open it up, I would suggest that there be very tight parameters because otherwise our sign now becomes marketing for everyone and we don't get our message out.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's
We don't want so much on it, we can't get our message on it.
That's my concerns. I want to make sure our message doesn't get diluted.
Yeah. I'll have a talk with Stas over the next couple weeks, and I'll bring something to you guys in work session that we can discuss, and we'll just work off of that. Right.
Talking about that sign, have we discussed anything at all about what's gonna happen with that sign when we move to the new city building?
No, I haven't had any conversations with council at all about anything as it relates to this building or any appurtenances to it. And at this point, my focus has been on making sure that we
Sure.
keep moving on all this and then figure out what that transition is going to look like after and give us some time. It's one of those things that I really don't want to rush through, and I'm not going to be able to give good perspective on it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something to think about, though. Right? Anything additional? Right, seeing nothing, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session for the reasons stated by City Manager Nichols.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have Vice Mayor Croucher and Councilwoman Montgomery. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Croucher,
Yay.
Ms. Montgomery,
Yay.
Mr. Prophet,
Yay.
Mr. Nichols,
Yay.
Ms. Butts,
Yay.
Mr. Rourke,
Yay.
Mayor Perry.
Yay. We are in executive session at 6:55 p.m. No official business will be conducted when we get out of executive session, so we'll begin the meeting at 7:30. Thank you.